All right, it looks like I'm live. That's what it says on the screen anyway. Hey, I read Reddit every day. I belong to a lot of groups that have to do with online marketing, and all the different platforms, search engine optimization, website development, all that. So I read it because you get a pulse on what's happening in the industry and what are the problems they're having, what are the wins that they're having. So I like to read that. That's the first thing I look at most mornings when I get to my office here. And I usually get here about 4 a.m. So I need some time because that's when I do a lot of my studying. That's when I try to learn new things or I come up with ideas. It's very early in the morning works best for me. Anyway, I'm going to share my screen and show you what this is all about. Here we go. I'm going to go there. I'm going to share screen. Entire screen. All right, I know I'm there because of the infinity of stuff. All right, let's go here. Okay, so when I got here this morning, of course, I'm looking at this. Considering leaving Google Ads after 20 years. I mean, that's a great headline, by the way, because it made me read it and I wanted to see what was going on. So when I read this, all agencies face the same problems. It's how we react or how we try to fix whatever the problem is. Google is still, in my book, the top marketing platform out there by far. And then, but we also love using Microsoft, which is a lot lower as far as search volume. And, Facebook, TikTok, LinkedIn, Instagram, all the different platforms we like marketing on. But Google's the best. So still to this day, as far as I'm concerned, on August 14th, 2024, Google's still the best. But let's read this. It's been a good run, but the past year and a half have been the worst with regards to Google Ads performance. Now, Google has changed quite a bit. I mean, we used to get a lot more data. We get a lot less now, and it keeps going up and down and up and down. You would think Google would keep it, where it needs to be when, like the guy was talking about a year and a half ago, he was doing really well. But it keeps changing. In fact, the whole platform where we have manager accounts and where we keep all the Google Ads clients, that whole platform changes by the end of this month. And so we're constantly having to learn new stuff. And isn't that impressive? Or not even, that's not even the word impressive. I mean, imagine having a company that's so big and so powerful, you can basically screw over your clients and they still keep coming to you, aka Google. Okay. First, it was smart shopping. Then PMax campaigns started becoming the de facto way to manage ads for e-commerce. We use PMax and we do pretty good with a lot of clients. It doesn't work the same everywhere. I could have a client in Memphis, Tennessee that's doing really good with it, and I can have another one in Charlotte, North Carolina, where it's flopping. Same campaign, same type of service, but it's the area and how Google looks at the algorithms. We are on a legacy ERP and don't have full automation like some other stores, but we are bringing in well over 10 million a year in revenue attributable to AdWords, Google Ads, right? So that's a lot of freaking money. That's almost $1 million a month in this e-commerce store. Prior to the shift, we saw our ad visibility tank over the past year, despite the stellar ad history. Many campaigns were producing return on ad spend of 8 plus, so 8 times, which is really good. Fast forward to 2023, and quickly all went downhill within 12 months because PMax relies on direct sales correlation. Kind of what that means is a direct sale online, Google can see that. They can see the type of person. But let's say a lot of your sales happen offline, and they might see that, and then you might retarget them into Facebook or something like that, or another platform. So what does he say here? Let's look at this. Sales correlation. Okay, Okay, so because PMAX relies on direct correlation and more than half of our sales often happen offline with no easy way to feed that data back to Google, Google should make it easy. It should be like a little button where you input all this information. Whoever, if they bought offline from you, it came to a store, you're selling from a cart, right? You're whatever, door to door, stuff like that. And you got their information in their email and all that. You could feed that into Google, and Google says this is a great client. But it's not easy to do that. It looked like our ad performance was poor, and therefore we were not worthy of top placements. Very important word right here. It looked like it was poor because Google's not seeing the big picture. They're not seeing the 90% of leads are getting offline, or 80% or 70%, whatever that might be. Tried to reinvent to standard shopping and bid up on key models. Very minor success. Could never win back the top shopping slots, no matter what. We all go through this, folks. This is a very, God, what's a great word for this? It disappoints me that we have to work this hard to stay at the top of Google, and Google doesn't reward, top producers. A lot of my clients are top producers. We do real well with them, but we're constantly having to change things, to look at things. And, and the market's getting bigger. More and more people are going into business for themselves. So now, instead of having 5 competitors, you might have 20 competitors, all trying to be at the top of Google for that Google ad. Right. And so depending on what they're willing to spend, right? Let's say a month ago, I was spending $5 a click for mold inspection near me, this keyword. Let's say I'm spending $5. That's not true. It could be up or down. I'm making the number up. $5. Get a bunch more competitors. They're willing to spend, they're saying they're willing to spend $20 a click. So now it went from 5 to 20. So if several of them say that, right, and they're willing to spend the money, my click cost is going to go up. So, now I'm going to have to spend more for that same lead. A month ago, I was only paying $5 for. So we're constantly looking at that at Top Click Joe. That's why I got so many employees here. That's why I bring all my teams together. Sure, we get calls from clients and, they're like, hey, I was doing really good. Now this thing changed. Believe me, we know before you know if there's a problem. We're in these accounts every day. That's why I have all these employees. We're constantly looking at it. But as you can see here, this is very true. Google continues to change. We got to continue to try to update, to change with it. And, and so it's not, what's the word? It's not for the weak, believe me. You got to be on top of this constantly so you can do a good job. Then as I scroll down, I start seeing what everybody thinks. Here's everybody's answer, right? Pay-per-click chief here. This is very painful to read as your frustration really comes across in your posts. The dude was making $10 million a year. Now he's making, I don't know, $5 million. That's a lot of money. I don't know what the number is. He didn't say. But if it's way down, I bet it's half or a third or a quarter. So if you're doing that, great. And people are buying, and they're buying through the Google Shopping platform network. Why would Google change things so much? Because they're making money from these people clicking. So why make it harder for us? That is the $1 million question right there. Why the hell not keep it simple for us? Well, it's not simple. I mean, the only good thing about what Google's doing is the average business owner, there's no way they can go in and do Google on their own because they're not going to know all these new buttons and everything changing. So obvious questions are, is it still profitable at least? Of course, that's an obvious question because if you're still making money, why quit? But I can see how you'd be bummed out if you were doing 10 and now you're doing 5. That's a lot of money, right? You're not going to get that yacht this year. You're going to have to settle with a John boat, okay? Don't pack up. So I don't like what this guy said. Don't pack up and leave. Feels a bit baby in bathwater. Oh, come on. Try to salvage something. Well, we all try to do that. Then again, I'm not in your shoes, so on and so forth. Nowhere to run, only good ads and Microsoft ads. Oh, I mean, only Google ads and Microsoft ads. I left Google 8 years ago, but the only alternative is Microsoft ads. You might know it as Bing. We do use that for our clients. It is less population on there. Usually it's the older population because they buy a computer and it's a PC. It comes with Microsoft. So you don't know to install Google Chrome or use Google search if you're older, most people, right? So Microsoft does come in handy, especially if you're selling something that's for senior citizens. Microsoft is even better than Google at that point, right? Because there's a lot of older people on there. And we've tested that, and that's true. But it's not true for like service businesses, things like that. We still use it because we can grab a small amount of people. Okay, sends. Okay, so now they're talking about X, sends bot traffic, no support. I don't think it's that bad. We've used it. I don't mind it. Facebook, bad. Audience and bots too. We do really well in Facebook. Sorry, this guy isn't doing well. We do pretty good with it. Things changed dramatically last 10 to 15 years, so your ad setup needs to change as well. I don't think it's a matter of poor ad network performance. It's a matter of campaign setup. This isn't always true. There's a lot of factors, right? Like I was saying, one of the factors is there's more competition. They're willing to spend more money. Now you got to up your game, and now you got to tell your client, hey, I know you were just spending $1,000 a month on Google ads. Like I have a lot of clients that are on the lower end also. And so now you got to spend $3,000 to get the same amount of leads. So what do you think our clients think when they see that or they hear that from us? Most of the time they think we don't know what we're doing. We're not doing our job. If we have to tell them they have to up their bid to get the same amount of work, and a lot of times we're able to do it without that much of a difference. But do you know how much work is involved in doing what we do? There's a big reason why these big agencies will only take on clients that are willing to spend 20, 30, 40, 50,000 a month on clicks, on pay-per-click. This isn't an exaggeration. We shop other agencies. We know what they charge. In fact, our Ultimate 16, a company that's similar to us, charges 4 times what we charge for management. And I think we charge a pretty good price. Now, I have a different business. I'm at a 20% profit. Most ad agencies are at an 80% profit. And I put all my money into software and employees, right? I want to grow the company with a lot of brains, so I give my clients the very best. So it is different. We got to do a lot more work, man, when that starts happening. But, the old adage is true. The business that spends the most gets the most. There's no doubt about that. If you're going to spend the most, you're going to get at the top of Google all the time. But what does that number look like? Well, you know that we're always up against competitors. So we got an idea what we got to spend. But if we start dropping and we look at our impression share and we see that's dropping, we know that we're, something's going on and we got to fix something. A lot of times what we'll do is we'll use a lot more negatives. So that way, even though the price went up for that client to try to get a client, if we use enough negatives and we use them smart, then you're not paying for clicks on something you don't do. But that's a lot of work. I almost forgot. Amazon has replaced Google as their top sales generator by far. Not for service businesses. But for products, we use Amazon. Absolutely. Amazon delivers in a day for free. So we're going to use Amazon for e-commerce, and that's true. It is like Google intended for this to happen. People used to search Google and come to us directly. Now, if they search Google, they go to Amazon, then buy it from us there, or just go to Amazon directly and skip Google. Google is dead. Google is not dead. I don't agree with that. It's how you set it up. It's about 50-50. There is fierce competition. That's true. That I just talked about that. And some people just don't like Amazon and like shopping in shops. So they like going to shops. Google dropped the ball. They should have had their own marketplace by now. I'm wondering the same damn thing. Why they're making billions. Why don't they have their own freaking marketplace to go up against Amazon? It's exactly what I would do. By the way, Google, if you're listening, I'm happy to be your next CEO. $23 million a year is what I'm asking for that. But anyway, Why wouldn't you have the money to go up against Amazon? Why wouldn't you do that? Instead, they have fake self-driving cars that will never amount to anything except lose billions, and a search engine that's way worse than 10, 15 years ago. It is dead, but for other reasons. I don't think it's dead. I use it every day. I have several hundred clients, and it works really well for us. Fair point. We've moved to the top to a top agency. They have reconfigured the campaigns twice, but the needle is still moving the wrong direction. Top agency. Are you reading this? Top agencies are having problems. Like I tell people, there is no secret weapon out there. There is no secret. The secret is hard work. That's the secret. It's hard work. I still think it's possible to be successful with Google Ads. Yep, I'm successful, but it has changed. So the moral to this, let me stop sharing. The moral to this story is Google has changed, and it continues to change all the time. We're constantly up and down, up and down. That's why we have an employee. Their only job is to look at what changes are in the marketplace. So we're on top of it. So we know what we're doing. There's no way I'm going to keep up with all this stuff. Yes, I get up, I read Reddit. And I belong to all those marketing groups. And I don't read all the posts because there's hundreds, but this one stuck out 20, they're leaving Google after 20 years. I want to know why, what's going on. And so, staying on top of what's going on in the industry is extremely important. And we do that. That's why I've hired somebody to let me know what's changed, and let not only me, but the crew. Now understand, when I started doing marketing 8 years ago, it was me, and I had a partner, Craig, when we owned Trust Local. He has since passed away from cancer a couple of years ago. But Top Click Joe is, we're constantly having to see what's changing, what's the new algorithm, what's going on here, so we can stay on top of this. And I can no longer do that. I've gotten too big. The company's gotten too big. My job has changed. I used to be in Google Ads every day with George. He was my first employee. He's still with us. He's the chief operating officer of Top Click Joe now. And, he's extremely intelligent, but we have a lot of team members, and we just bring all these brains together, and we look at what's changing, and we see what we got to do. I get emails like everybody else. We're not perfect. We're not gods. What happened to my Google Ads? Why isn't it working? I get clients that are basically broke when they come to Top Click Joe. And I'm going to start asking these questions a little bit better, because really, if we're your last ditch effort, that's probably not a good client to bring in. We have luck, half the time we have great luck. Right away, people get leads, but sometimes it could take 60 days to get really good qualified leads, because Google's trying to figure out the audience out there, and the how we optimize things, even though we know, because we use niches. Like, for instance, hardwood floor refinishing niche. I have a client that wasn't getting very many. He was getting a bunch of leads, and it stopped. We didn't change anything in Google. Nothing was changed. It was happening. He was getting a bunch of leads, and then it tanked. So we're like, okay, something happened. What's going on? We had to figure it out. I actually figured out one thing the other day, and we changed the landing page. And there's a reason why I changed it, because, contrast is very, very important on a phone. When you're on your phone, it's smaller, and you got to be able to read those words real easy and understand where you're at. And there's got to be contrast. Right? Like, you're looking at me right now, my red shirt against a black background really shows up. That's really good contrast. So we changed that, and he got 3 leads yesterday. So anyway, it works. We're constantly doing things. We're constantly checking new landing pages. That's why we're constantly building web pages, like landing pages that do A/B tests. Like, which one's better, right? Like, maybe we need to, let's say they had 4.6 rating on Google, and they have like 80 people that left reviews. They got a 4.6. Maybe we put that on the above the fold. Do y'all understand what above the fold is? It's when you're on the computer, before you scroll, that's above the fold. It's a hero section. On your phone, it's when you go to a website, it's before you start scrolling up. Above the fold is that, before you scroll, okay? Anyway, we're constantly changing our landing pages so we can see what works better. And I was talking about 4.6. This is a good test score with Google. With it on there, we got less leads because 4.6 wasn't high enough. People may not have liked that. Took it off. It was great. Okay. Everything was great. So I try to get our clients to get more reviews. Like everybody get reviews from everybody. Start getting video testimonies. If you're not getting video testimonies, man, you are in the wrong business. Get a job at McDonald's. You need to have video testimonies, and they don't need to look like a Hollywood freaking production, because people know that those are actors. When you make it look too good, that's not really you. It's me. Hey, I'm Joe. I own Top Click Joe. We're an online advertising agency. We do things a little bit different here. What we do at Top Click Joe, most agencies have like an 80% profit. We only have a 20% profit because we put our money into our employees and into software. So you, our client, has the advantage. I know you don't care what kind of money I'm making. You only care what kind of money you can make. And we're all about you today. So have any of you, those of you that are older like me, I'm 67, may remember in Los Angeles, California, back in the 70s, I used to watch on TV the commercials, Cal Worthington. He owned a car dealership, and he would sit on top of an elephant, and he would say, hey, I'm Cal Worthington. I'm not getting off this elephant until we sell 50 cars. If I got to stay up here for the next week without food or water, I'm sitting on the elephant. Then he got better. Then he got a chair, like a little chair thing on top of the elephant with a tiger in the freaking chair, and he's sitting on the tiger now on top of the elephant. So he was an extreme marketer back then when nobody was doing this stuff. And I've always thought kind of outside the box also. Anyway, I hope this helps. You understand Google's constantly changing. We're constantly changing my company. We're constantly looking at what we can do to get these leads. That's why it's so important to market everywhere, omni-channel marketing, like our Ultimate 16 package. That's why it's important, because if one thing's not working the best, this other thing's going to fill in. This other thing's going to fill in more. That's why we do it. It's you everywhere all at once at Top Click Joe. Have a great day. Thank you for watching. Peace out, man.